What's up, Internet? My name is Michael Cook. This is Blue Giant Media, and we're here to connect through gaming. Today, we're going to put the spotlight on Istanbul, the dice game by Rudiger Dorn and published by AEG. We're going to set the game up, play through it a little bit so you can see how the rules work, and then we're going to come back and I'll let you know what I like, what I don't like, who may like and who may not like Istanbul, the dice game. Alright, here I have Istanbul, the dice game, set up for 2. Each player is going to have one of these nice reference sheets that kind of covers all the actions. It's printed on both sides. So on your turn, what you're going to be doing is you're going to be rolling 5 dice. Now, normally you're not going to get any rerolls, but you're going to get to decide how you're going to divvy up these dice into 2 different actions. So if you wanted, you could take the money action, which it shows on here. However many dice you take, you get 2 coins per die. So just like it shows here, it shows 4 coins. Then this player could take 4 coins. And then maybe they could take these 2 greens, because any 2 of the same type is going to give you a good. And then they can pass the die over. The next player would then roll the dice the same way. So 3 of the same kind doesn't do you any good. If you have 2 different ones, it's going to give you one of these, which is a Reroll Crystal. So if you wanted, this player could take this and re-roll these 2, try and maybe see if they want to get another green, possibly, and they lucked out. They got 4 green. So what they can do for their first action, and they use their Reroll Crystal, is go ahead and spend 4, because whatever is showing here is what you are going to be turning in order to get a ruby. And in a 2-player game, the winner is the first one to get to 6 rubies. Although if, for instance, the first player gets 6 rubies first, the second player is going to have another chance to finish, so they have the same number of turns. And then it's possible that this player could still win, even if this player is the first one to get to 6 rubies. But anyway, this player could do that and then use their last coin die to get coins. So some of the other things that you can do, and play just continues back and forth like that. So other things that you could do, you can do the card action, which however many dice you use, 1, 2, 3, you would draw that many cards, but no matter how many cards you draw, you'll still only get to use one of them. So having more dice really just gives you more flexibility in what you're going to choose to do. And all of the cards are going to do a benefit for you, and most of them will give a benefit to everybody else too. Like this one right here says that you get a yellow good, but everybody else has the opportunity to pay to get a yellow good. This one right here says you're going to get a red good and 3 coins, but everybody else gets to choose either a red good or 3 coins. So when you do those actions, you kind of get things, but everybody else could get them as well. Alright, so let's just say that this player is going to go ahead and grab a red and 3 coins. 1, 2, 3, and red. Then this player over here can choose to take maybe just the 3 coins. Alright, then we'll make a little discard pile here. The next thing that they could do also is spend 3 of these reds in order to get one of these Mosque Tiles. And these Mosque Tiles are going to give you different things that you can get either as modifications for actions or just different benefits that only you get. Like this one right here, you use 1 of every colored good, and they can be a combination of the dice and the tokens, and you're going to get an extra die. That way, on your turn, you will always be rolling then 6 dice, and everybody else is going to use 5. And it's possible to get more of these and get more dice. This one right here says that anytime you take the money action, you will also get a blue good, which if you have one of these for multiple different kinds of goods, then whenever you take the money action, it's going to give you a whole bunch of stuff for free, which is spectacular. This one, and this one, these all give you either a card, a Reroll Crystal, or 3 money at the beginning of your turn. So like for the card, it would just be draw 1, get to resolve it. Then you can get 1 Reroll Crystal or 3 money at the beginning of every turn. This one says that you get 1 extra action, so that means that you can do 3 things every turn, meaning you can take like 2 die actions and buy a mosque or any of these different things. So, very nice. Alright, so they went ahead and we're going to say that they spent that to get that, so they can start getting 3 money every turn, and a new one of these comes out. So that's most of the action. Some other things that you can do is if you have 3 different die faces of goods, you can get a wild crate. If you have one of each good showing, you could take any 2 goods that you want. If you have the necessary money or goods, then you can go ahead and get these. One other thing that you can do right here shows that if you have 5 Mosque Tiles, you can get one of these crystals right there, or rubies, and every time you get a ruby, it increases the cost. So right here, this player got their first ruby for 4. The next person to get a trade in green goods for rubies is going to have to pay 5, and then the last one is going to be for 6. These ones down here, you only look at what is, so all of them except for here, you're just looking at whatever the closest one that's unveiled is. So this pay 12 money, next person pays 14, next person pays 16. Over here, you're going to have to pay 1 of every good, and so this is different because it shows plus. So 1 of each good plus 1 of any color. Then the next one is 1 of each good plus 2 of any color. So 6 total goods. And like I said, you're just going to play first one to 6 rubies, finish the round, and then whoever has the most rubies is going to be the winner. There you go. Now that you have a pretty good idea of how to play Istanbul the dice game, I want to let you know what I do like about the game. The things that I like a whole bunch is just how quick the game is. It packs a whole bunch of stuff in a really short amount of time. I love the speed of the game, how easy it is to teach. I can play this game with brand new gamers. The parent game for this one, Istanbul, was a little bit heavier for a beginner gamer. I don't think it was an especially heavy game at all, by any means. I'd say light medium weight for me personally. But this game, it's easy enough for, I think, a brand new gamer to pick up. They're familiar with some of the mechanics that you could possibly do with the re-rolling, and there's not too much to it. I really enjoy using the Mosque Tiles to kind of get a little bit of a different flavor, different powers that the other players may not have. That is one of the, I think, the major branching paths to victory that you can do in this game is kind of what Mosque Tiles you choose. Are you going to try and pass a couple turns basically just getting some more dice and then try and catch up to the end? But you can also go for mosques, if you get enough of them, to get a ruby. So I like that race aspect of it, and how with choosing which path that you take can just, it changes the feel and the tension of that race. So those are the things that I really like about the game. The things that I don't like about the game basically just have to do with really minor niggles with the production quality. And that's not to say the production quality is bad, but the player aids are thin. Maybe it could be a little bit, a little bit thicker. I don't know, some card stock or something like that, or maybe even cardboard. Speaking of the board, I kind of wish that the board folded and that this was in a smaller box. I think that, to me, one of the beautiful things about it is that it can be played just about anywhere. And right now, it takes up more space than it needs to. I'd rather it was in a smaller box. So really minor complaints there. So who is going to like this game? If you were a fan of Istanbul, this, I think, for me, captures the feel of Istanbul. It has that race aspect. You have the mosques that kind of give a little bit of different powers, and you can either gather the goods and turn them in for rubies, or gather money, turn them in for rubies. Those parts are all there. So if you like Istanbul, I think that you are going to enjoy this game. If you're a fan of dice games in general, or if you like clever uses of dice, I think that you'll enjoy this game. It's not necessarily the most clever use of dice, but I do feel like there's pretty low luck. You have the reroll crystals that you can get. You can always turn things in for a couple of those chips, turn them in for mosques. There's enough different things that you can do going for the cards, whatever it is. Usually, there's not really such a thing as a bad roll unless you've painted yourself into a position where you need a specific thing, or maybe in that last turn or two where you know, okay, I need things to break this way. But to me, 90% of the game, they've done a really good job of mitigating the luck. And I always enjoy games that kind of have dice but are lower luck. To me, I enjoy that. I enjoy having a little bit of luck so that everybody feels like they have a chance to win. And it's not just me dominating a new gamer all the time. There's enough variance there where they can feel like they've got a chance. And I think that's important. if you like games that have a little bit of a race aspect to it, where you're trying to get to an objective first or get to something, obviously it's not an actual race where you have cars, so it's not that kind of race. But if you like those that have that feel of, it's an arms race, whatever, a race to get to this objective, I think that you're going to enjoy the feel of this game, because it has a little bit of that tension where, like, okay, I hope no one buys that crystal, because if they do, then I don't have enough to buy this turn. There's that tension because you kind of know what you want to do, and you hope the other people don't do it. And I like that. It's a good amount of tension. People who will not like this game are people who expect different of it because it has Istanbul on the cover, because it is not a worker placement game, and there's no spatial element to it, which to me were the spatial aspect of Istanbul was one of the things that made it stand out from other worker placement games. The fact that where you went limited what your options were the following turn. That was incredibly clever, and I think it was one of the things that made Istanbul what it was. So, if you're a fan of Istanbul and you want that worker placement and spatial aspect, that's what you really love about it, that is not in this game. So that might be a letdown for you if you're not aware of it, or just might make you say, well, never mind, I've got enough dice games. If you're really drawn in by specific themes, the theme, it feels like you're trying to work the market, but it's not like an engrossing, engaging theme. So if you're really a fan of thematic games, this might not be for you. And likewise, if you want an epic experience, this is a short experience. I wouldn't say Istanbul was an epic experience, but it definitely took a lot longer than this game does. So it's not going to give you that epic kind of building up, it's quick. So overall, I think I like this better than Istanbul, the board game. Granted, I never played with any of the expansions for that one, but I'm not going to say that it's a better design. I think that Istanbul is a better game, but I will say that I personally like this one even better. So, highly recommended Istanbul, the dice game. Alright, let's go ahead and take the spotlight off of Istanbul, the dice game. If you want to know more about this game, you can look for links in the description section to my unboxing, my setup, and playthrough. And you can also find a link to macronovagames.com where you can buy Istanbul, the dice game, and a whole bunch of other great games. If you have any other questions in general, let me know in the comments section below. I'd love to connect with you, talk about gaming, talk about how to connect to each other through gaming. It's one of the things that I love to do. Until next time, I want to thank you so much for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe if you like what you see. And as always, have a wonderful day.